Hello and welcome to English Chatroom podcast channel. I am your host Rose. Today we'll follow a short story about Maria and her friend Haris. This is a great way to practice real-life English conversation. Just listen, read the captions, and speak along with me. Let's begin. It's early in the morning. Maria slowly opens her eyes as the sunlight peeks through the window. She stretches her arms and takes a deep breath. Maria says, "Ah, another beautiful day. I hope today will be good." She gets out of bed and walks to the mirror. She looks at herself and says, Maria says, "Good morning, Maria. Let's make today productive." She brushes her teeth and washes her face with cold water. Then, she quickly gets dressed and heads to the kitchen. In the kitchen, her mother greets her with a warm smile. Mother says, "Good morning, Maria. Did you sleep well?" Maria says, "Yes, Mama. I slept like a baby." "And you?" Mother replies, "I'm fine too, dear. Sit down. Breakfast is ready." Maria sits at the table and starts eating. Maria say, this bread is so soft, and the eggs are perfect. Thank you, Mama." Mother says, "You're welcome. Eat well and then go enjoy your day." After breakfast, Maria steps outside for some fresh air. She sees her friend Haris walking toward her. Haris says, "Hey Maria, I was just about to call you. How are you?" Maria says, "I'm great, Haris. It's such a lovely morning." Haris says, "Yes, it is. Do you want to go to the park for a walk?" Maria says, "Sure, I'd love to. Let me just grab my sunglasses." Narrator. They walk together to the nearby park. Haris says, "So, what do you usually like to do when you come here?" Maria says, "Well, I enjoy walking slowly and listening to the birds. It helps me clear my mind." "What about you?" Haris says, "I usually come here to play football with some friends, but I also enjoy relaxing under a tree." Maria says, "That sounds peaceful. Maybe I'll join your game one day." Haris says, "Really? Then you better start practicing." Narrator. And that's the end of today's conversation. Let's quickly review some important phrases from Maria and Haris's story. Repeat after me. Let's make today productive. I slept like a baby. This bread is so soft. Do you want to go to the park for a walk? I enjoy walking slowly and listening to the birds. Maybe I'll join your game one day. We'll also read a short story that Maria finds in her English book. Let's begin. Home. Narrator. After walking in the park with Haris, Maria says goodbye and returns home. When she enters the house, her mother is waiting for her in the kitchen. Mother says, "Maria, where did you go?" Maria says, "I went to the park with Haris. We walked and talked for a while." Mother says, "That's nice. Did you enjoy it?" Maria says, "Yes, I enjoyed it a lot." Let's practice these useful answers. Repeat after me. I went to the park. I walked and talked. I enjoyed it a lot. Let's practice these useful answers. Repeat after me. I went to the park. I walked and talked. I enjoyed it a lot. These sentences help you talk about past events in a simple and natural way. Maria reads a story, Thomas and Kate, later that day. Maria sits at her desk because she wants to study English. She opens her English book and starts reading a story about a boy named Thomas. He goes to school every day. His teacher is kind and helps him when he has questions. I am a student. I go to school every day. I like to study English. My teacher is kind. My teacher helps me when I have questions. Thomas talks about learning. I like to study English because it helps me talk to new people. I also like math because I enjoy solving problems. Practice these full sentences. I like math because I enjoy solving problems. Thomas meets Kate. Now imagine that Thomas meets his friend Kate. Kate says, "Hi, Thomas. Did you finish your homework?" Thomas replies, "Yes, I finished it yesterday." "That's great. Let's study together for the test tomorrow." Thomas says, "Yes, let's do it. Repeat after me. I finished it yesterday. Let's study together. Let's do it." Thomas and Kate study together. Later, Thomas and Kate sit down to study together. Thomas says, "This chapter is interesting." Kate replies, "Yes, I think so too." Thomas asks, "Can you help me with this question?" Kate says, "Sure, I can help." Repeat these useful study phrases. This chapter is interesting. Sure, I can help. After Maria finishes her own day, she decides to read more from her English book. She finds a story about two students, Thomas and Kate. Let's read it together. Thomas is a hardworking student who goes to school every day. He enjoys learning, especially English and mathematics, because they help him think clearly and express himself better. His teacher is friendly and always supports him when he has questions. Thomas says, "I like to study English because it allows me to communicate with people from different places. I enjoy math as well because I love solving problems." Let's repeat together. I enjoy learning new subjects. English helps me express myself clearly. Math helps me become a better problem solver. Thomas is a student. He likes to study English and math. Practice sentences with Maria. Thomas says, "I like to study English because it helps me talk to new people." Kate says, "Can you help me with this question?" Kate and Thomas study for a test. One afternoon, Thomas meets his friend Kate at school. Kate says, "Hi, Thomas. Did you finish the homework we got yesterday?" Thomas replies, "Yes, I completed all of it last night. It was a bit difficult, but I managed to do it." Kate smiles. "That's great. We should study together for tomorrow's test." Thomas says, "Yes, let's do it. I think studying with you will make it easier to understand everything." Repeat these more advanced phrases. I completed my homework last night. Let's study together for the test. Studying with a friend makes learning easier. Studying together. Later that day, Thomas and Kate sit together in the library. They open their books and begin reviewing the chapter. Thomas says, "This chapter is really interesting. It talks about different ways people learn languages." Kate replies, "Yes, I think so too. I never knew learning styles could be so different." Thomas asks, "Can you help me with this question? I'm not sure I understand it." Kate says kindly, "Sure, I can help. Let's look at it together. Let's practice. This chapter is very interesting. I'm not sure I understand this part. Can you explain it to me?" Useful practice sentences from Thomas and Kate's story. I like studying because it helps me grow. I finished my work yesterday. Let's review together before the test. Can you help me with this part? Let's help each other learn. Maria finishes reading the story of Thomas and Kate. She feels motivated and thinks, if they can help each other and study hard, so can I. Maria writes about her day plus market and cafe scene. Practice script in natural English with daily life vocabulary. After reading Thomas and Kate's story, Maria feels inspired to write about her own day. She sits at her desk and begins writing in her notebook. Maria's daily routine. Maria writes, "Today I woke up early and brushed my teeth. I had breakfast with my family. We ate eggs, toast, and drank tea. After breakfast, I went to the park and met my friend Haris. We walked around, talked about school, and enjoyed the fresh air. Later, I returned home and studied English for an hour. I really want to improve my grammar and speaking skills." Maria goes to the market. That afternoon, Maria and her mother go shopping for fruits and vegetables. Mother says, "Maria, we need to buy some apples and bananas. Let's go to the market." At the market, Maria looks around and says, "I see apples, bananas, and oranges. Everything looks fresh." Maria asks the shopkeeper, "How much are the apples?" Shopkeeper replies, "Apples are $3 per kilo. Bananas are $2 per kilo." Mother says, "We'll take 2 kilos of apples and 1 kilo of bananas, please." Maria smiles and says, "Thank you." At the cafe, after shopping, Maria and her mother go to a cafe nearby. Maria says, "I'd love to have a cup of tea. I feel a little tired." Mother says, "I want a cup of coffee." The waiter comes to their table and asks, "What would you like to order?" Maria says, "1 tea and 1 coffee, please." The waiter replies, "Sure. Anything else?" Practice sentences. Let's practice some useful phrases from this story. I woke up early and brushed my teeth. I had breakfast with my family. I went to the park and talked with my friend. We need to buy fruits and vegetables. How much do the apples cost? I'd like a cup of tea, please. Can I help you with anything else? Grandmother. Narrator. On Sunday morning, Maria decided to visit her grandmother. Maria says, "Mom, I want to go to Grandma's house today." Mother says, "That's a nice idea. You can take the bus from the main road." Maria says, "Okay, I'll get ready and leave soon." Narrator. Maria packed a small bag, took her water bottle, and left home. Maria says, "At the bus stop, I need to catch bus number 12. It goes to Grandma's street." After waiting for a few minutes, the bus arrived. Bus driver says, "Good morning. Where are you going?" Maria says, "Good morning. I'm going to Maple Street, near the community park." Bus driver says, "That's on our route. Please take a seat." Maria sat near the window and enjoyed the view as the bus moved through the city. Maria says, "I love watching trees and people from the bus window." After about 20 minutes, Maria reached her grandmother's street and got off the bus. Maria says, "Knocking Grandma. I'm here." Grandmother. "Oh, my sweet girl. What a lovely surprise. Come in, come in." Maria says, "I missed you, Grandma. I really wanted to spend the day with you." Maria says, "I missed you, Grandma. I really wanted to spend the day with you." Grandmother says, "And I missed you too, dear. Tell me, how is school going?" Maria says, "School is going well. We're learning about English grammar and some new science topics." Grandmother says, "That's wonderful. Are you enjoying your lessons?" Maria says, "Yes, I enjoy English the most because I love reading and writing stories." Grandmother says, "That's good to hear. Have you done your homework?" Maria says, "Yes, I finished it yesterday so I could relax with you today." Grandmother says, "Excellent. It's important to be responsible. but also to take a break sometimes. Maria says, "You always give the best advice, Grandma." Grandmother replied, "Thank you, dear. Cook with Grandma." "Grandma, can we cook something together today?" Grandmother says, "Of course. Let's make some vegetable rice and salad." "Yum! I love your cooking. What should I do first?" Grandmother says, "Start by washing the rice and cutting the vegetables." "Got it. I'll be careful with the knife." Maria helped her grandmother with every step. She mixed, stirred, and asked questions. "The smell is so delicious. I'm learning a lot today." Grandmother replied, "You're doing great. One day you'll cook even better than me." Maria says, "I hope so. Cooking with you is fun and special." After finishing the meal, they both sat down to eat and talk happily. After spending a nice day at her grandmother's house, Maria comes back home. Maria says, "Mom, I had a great time at Grandma's house." Maria feels unwell. The next morning, Maria feels sick. Maria says, "Mom, I have a headache and a sore throat." Mom says, "Oh no, let's go to the doctor." Maria visits the doctor. Doctor says, "Good morning, Maria. What is the problem?" Maria says, "Good morning, doctor. I have a headache and a sore throat." Doctor says, "How long have you been feeling like this?" Maria says, "For 2 days." Doctor says, "Don't worry. I will give you some medicine. Take it twice a day and drink plenty of water." Maria says, "Thank you, doctor." Doctor says, "You're welcome. Get well soon." Maria says, "I feel better now. I will go back to school." Teacher says, "Maria, welcome back to school. How are you feeling now?" Maria says, "Thank you, teacher. I am feeling better." Teacher says, "That is good to hear. We missed you in class." Maria says, "I missed the class too. I'm happy to be back." Maria says, "School is over. The weather is nice. I will go to the park." Maria says, "Oh, Haris is here." Maria says, "Hi, Haris. Where have you been? I didn't see you." Haris says, "I was busy." "Where were you?" Maria says, "I was sick. I had a headache and sore throat, but now I am fine." Haris says, "I'm glad you are feeling better. What are you doing now?" Maria says, "I came to the park to relax. The weather is perfect." Haris says, "Yes, let's walk together." Maria says, "Look at the trees and the flowers." Haris says, "They are so beautiful, and the birds are singing." Maria says, "Yes, it's peaceful here." Maria says, "Look, there's an ice cream cart." Maria says, "Haris, would you like some ice cream?" Haris says, "Yes, I would love some." Maria says, "Let's go and buy it." Maria says, "Hello, can I have 1 chocolate ice cream and 1 vanilla ice cream, please?" Maria says, "Thank you." Haris says, "This ice cream is so good." Maria says, "Yes, it's a nice ending to a good day." Maria applied for a job in a company. She go for interview. She entered in office. Interviewer says, "Good morning, Maria. Please have a seat." Maria says, "Thank you." Interviewer says, "Tell me about yourself." Maria says, "My name is Maria. I have completed my studies and I'm interested in this job." Interviewer says, "Why do you want to work here?" Maria says, "I like this company because it has a good reputation, and I want to learn and grow." Interviewer says, "What are your strengths?" Maria says, "I am hardworking, punctual, and I work well in a team." Interviewer says, "That's great. Do you have any questions for me?" Maria says, "Yes. Can you tell me about the work environment?" Interviewer says, "We have a friendly and supportive work environment." Maria says, "Thank you for the information." Interviewer says, "Thank you, Maria. We will contact you soon." Maria says, "Thank you. Have a nice day." After some days, there is call from company. Manager says, "Hello, Maria. This is Mr. Smith from ABC Company. I am happy to inform you that you got the job." Maria says, "Thank you very much. I am very happy." Manager says, "You will start next Monday at 9 o'clock a.m." Maria says, "I will be there. Thank you again." Manager says, "You're welcome. Have a nice day." Maria says, "You too." Maria decides to go on a vacation to the beach. She books a hotel and travels there. Maria says at the hotel, "Hello, I have a reservation." Receptionist says, "Welcome. Can I have your name, please?" Maria says, "My name is Maria Smith." Receptionist says, "Thank you. Here is your room key. Your room is on the 3rd floor. Breakfast is served from 7 o'clock a.m. to 10 o'clock a.m." Maria says, "Thank you very much." Receptionist says, "Enjoy your stay." Maria says in her room, "This room is nice and comfortable. The view is beautiful." On the beach, Maria meets new people. Someone says, "Hello, is this your first time here?" Maria says, "Yes, it is my first visit." Person says, "Welcome. This is a beautiful place." Maria says, "Yes, I like the sea and the sand." Person says, "Would you like to join us for a volleyball game?" Maria says, "Sure, that sounds fun." They play together and have a good time. Maria says, "That was a lot of fun. Thank you for inviting me." Person says, "You're welcome. Let's play again tomorrow." Maria says, "Yes, I would love to." Maria wakes up slowly and looks out the window. She says, "It's Saturday. No alarm today." She walks to the kitchen. She says, "Let's make some coffee first." She makes coffee and prepares pancakes. She says, "This smells so good. I love weekend mornings." Her phone rings. It's her friend Lisa. Lisa says, "Hi Maria, are you free today?" Maria says, "Yes, I have no plans. What's up?" Lisa says, "Let's go to the park. It's sunny outside." Maria says, "Great idea. I'll get ready." Later, Maria meets Lisa near the park gate. Maria says, "Hey Lisa, you look great." Lisa says, "Thanks. I brought snacks. Let's find a nice spot." They walk together and find a bench under a tree. Maria says, "It's so peaceful here." Lisa says, "Yes, and look at the kids playing. So much joy." Maria says, "I needed this break. Work was tiring this week." Lisa says, "Same here. Let's just enjoy the day." They eat some chips and drink juice. Maria says, "Thanks for bringing this. It's perfect." Lisa says, "You're welcome. So, how was your week?" Maria says, "Busy, but I finished a big project." Lisa says, "That's awesome. You must feel proud." Maria says, "Yes, I do. Now I just want to relax." They walk around the park slowly. Maria says, "Let's take a few photos." Lisa says, "Sure. The trees look so pretty." Maria says, "Say cheese." Lisa says, "Cheese." Later, they sit near the lake. Maria says, "I could sit here all day." Lisa says, "Me too. It's like a mini vacation." As the sun sets, Maria checks the time. Maria says, "I should head home now." Lisa says, "Okay, let's meet again next weekend." Maria says, "Definitely. I had a lovely time." Back at home, Maria takes a warm shower. She says, "That walk was refreshing." She makes soup for dinner. She says, "Simple and warm, just what I need." Before sleeping, she writes in her journal. She says, "Today was peaceful. I'm grateful for days like this." Then she turns off the light and says, "Good night." You can practice these sentences. It's Saturday. No alarm today. Let's go to the park. It's sunny outside. I needed this break. Work was tiring. I had a lovely time. Today was peaceful. Thank you for listening to Maria's weekend story. I hope you enjoyed the conversation and learned some new phrases. Now it's your turn. Try to repeat the sentences. Practice speaking and use these phrases in your daily life. If you liked this video, make sure to listen again and shadow the sentences. The more you repeat, the more confident you become. See you in the next episode of English Chatroom Podcast. Keep learning. Keep speaking. Bye for now. Don't forget to subscribe.